So, check this out, people. Last week, people were screaming the market is about to crash. You turn on the news, they were talking about the Japanese stock market crash, the Chinese stock market crash. Every stock market in the world was crashing or about to crash, right? Now you have to understand that these people create hype and they create this fear and they cause people to panic sell. And the fact is that there was no crash, at least not in the US. Most of the stocks that tanked on Sunday night pre-market before the market opened on Monday was due to panic selling. And the majority of people who panic sold regretted it after, because as soon as the market opened, the stock started to recover. And this is the problem with listening to the news. When you listen to the news, you get caught up in the hype. When you watch influencers who were posting stock market about to crash, they influence you to make mistakes, to sell prematurely, rather than watching the numbers and watching the market itself and allowing the market to do what it does. The market always tanks. Everybody knows that. And so when you anticipate the market crash, bend with the trend and buy puts. That's what I did. That's what I did. But the market recovered within 24 hours. So what does that tell you? That tells you that you cannot believe what you watch in the news. You cannot allow the news to manipulate you. You cannot allow influencers to manipulate you. And that is the problem that I have with watching the news and watching influencers who think they know what they're telling you, who open with the words, I'm not a financial advisor, and yet you watch these people. These scumbags who have no idea what they're talking about. They're just everyday people like you and I who don't know anything about what's going on in the market or in life. Half of them. Hell, more than half of them. These are just everyday people trying to tell you how to play with your money, how to invest your money. And so just this week, the other day, I posted a video saying that the stock market did not crash, that it was panic selling. I also said that Bitcoin would go back up to 64,000 within a week. It hasn't been a week yet, and Bitcoin is already at 60,000. The stocks drop, then you take advantage of that. You buy in when they drop. You buy in when they tank, because that's what the market does. That's how you play the market. Those who are trading, those who are novice traders who are coming into the game, you cannot panic sell when a stock tanks. You need to, if you know the stock that you're invested in and you watch the patterns and you watch the algorithms, the way I trade, I don't listen to the news. I don't listen to influencers. I simply watch the market. I watch the graphs. I watch the patterns. I create my own algorithms. Because, for example, a stock that I've always watched from the beginning, Coca-Cola and AT&T, those two stocks were not affected by the 24-hour crash that we had this week. They weren't affected at all. These two stocks I've always watched. AT&T's highest is $19. Its lowest is between 13 and 15. Coca-Cola's high is 69. Its lowest is 58.59. And while this supposed crash was happening, AT&T remained at its highs, and so did Coca-Cola. These two stocks were not affected. And when I buy into AT&T, I wait for it to drop to 15, between 13 and 15, and I buy in at that price. I don't buy in at 19 because I know that's the highest. The same with Coca-Cola. I don't buy a Coca-Cola at 68 or 69. That's ridiculous. When I know that's the highest, it's 52-week highs on Coca-Cola for the past couple of years, 3 years, is $69. So why would I buy in at 68 or 69? I wait for it to drop to 59, And then I jump in because I know that tends to be the lowest. And that's how you trade. You jump in at the lowest, but you have to know what you're jumping into. You have to know what stocks to play in and out of. You can't just listen to YouTubers or random people tell you jump into the stock when you don't know the patterns. You have to create algorithms that the brain develops. It's like when you play jump rope or when the girls play double dutch. They do this. They do this. They're timing the rope. They're timing the way it's being turned. They're timing it. They're creating an algorithm so that they know when to jump in and they don't get tripped by the rope when they jump in. And they do the same when they jump out. They create an algorithm, a pattern. And that's what you have to do when you trade. You have to watch the stocks that you're trading in and out of. You cannot just jump into random stocks. You have to watch the patterns. I'm constantly watching the graphs. I'm constantly watching the numbers because it doesn't matter what people tell you on YouTube. Balance sheets do not move the market. You have to watch the patterns. And that's how I trade. And when I invest into companies like AT&T and Coca-Cola, which pay dividends and pay me to leave my money in them. And so that every month I have at least a 10% profit, whether the stock goes up or not, because they're paying me to leave my money in there. You can't follow these AMC and GME pumpers who are constantly selling you this bullshit that Roaring Kitty is about to cause the squeeze. I mean, you people haven't learned yet. You haven't learned yet. Did GME go to the moon when it squeezed last month? Did it go to the moon? No, stocks don't go to the moon. They always tank. People sell. They want their money. They want their profits. And the only ones who are holding are those idiots who listen to these scumbags on YouTube tell them that these stocks are going to the moon. And so if you watch the markets after the supposed crash we had, you're going to see that AMC is back to its original numbers. GME is up to its original numbers that it's held for the past couple of weeks. Bitcoin is up to 60,000. Soon it'll hit its highs of 64,000. The only stock that has gone down and remained down is Nvidia, but it's only a matter of time before it goes back up to its highs of 130, 140, or 150. But I don't believe it's going to go much higher than that. I believe that Nvidia has reached the bubble, and it's only a matter of time before it gets lower. And so if you watch the SPY went down to about $516 during the supposed crash. And already it's back up to about $530. And so you see people how you're being influenced by watching the news. When you listen to the mainstream media tell you that there's a major crash coming, and then you panic sell. Now you can't jump in at the original numbers that you once jumped in at. Now you're going to jump in at its highest because the stock market recovered within 24 hours after you sold. Now you want to jump back in, and you have to do it at a higher price rather than holding on to your shares. And if the market tanks and this is a stock that you believe in, buy more at that lower price and bring your average back down. It's just that simple. You cannot listen to influencers tell you that stocks are going to the moon. You have to buy into stocks that actually are going to benefit you in the future. You can't get into the stock hoping that you're going to become rich. If you go in with that attitude, you're going to go broke. You want to get rich, get a job. Become an independent contractor, an independent seller, an entrepreneur. Get a job, go to work. Hard work is going to determine whether or not you make it in the future. This is why I was able to retire at such an early age and enjoy my life overseas and anywhere I want to in the world because I put in the time. No one gets rich off of the market. Those who believe that Roaring Kitty made it through the market are being deceived. The fact is that he had it before he became a millionaire. He may not have been a millionaire, but he didn't have to become rich to be successful in life because he was already there. This is why he was able to buy hundreds of thousands of shares before GME spiked when it did in 2021, because he already had the money to do so. So you can't be influenced by people who tell you they became rich through the market when they were already well off before the market. They just got a little better than they were before. And so if you want to make it, people like you and I want to make it, you have to make it the old-fashioned way, by getting a job, by going to work, and by investing in stocks that actually pay you to leave your money in there. You have to make the right choice in life. If you don't, others will make it for you, and then you will fail. And that's what's going on with YouTube influencers, that they're making the decisions for you. They're telling you what's right for you and what isn't. And if you sell your GME, for example, Morant's Rant, and you're one of his followers, he will block you. He will block you. That's manipulation. When you talk to him about buying puts, he shuts you down. That's manipulation. You can't be part of the crew if you sell your GME. You can't be part of the cult if you're not involved in GME in a positive way. These guys are scumbags. They influence novice investors that don't know no better, and then they take advantage of them and they talk down to them if they're not part of that crew. And that's manipulation, that's propaganda. And that's what these influencers do if you don't follow them. So in the end, people, educate yourself, train yourself. You don't need influencers to tell you how to trade or how to invest. All you have to do is open your app, Robinhood or Webull, watch some stocks, see what their lowest are, their 52-week lows are, their 52-week highs are. Watch those patterns, watch the numbers, and jump in at its 52-week low. Jump in at its lowest, ride it up to its highest, because you know that's the high. It's not going to go up any higher than that. And if you're a trader, you sell at that high, you wait for it to go back down to its 52-week low, which it tends to do, and then you keep doing that. Rinse and repeat. And if you're a novice investor and you want to invest in stocks like, these are just examples, Coca-Cola and AT&T that pay dividends. Watch those stocks. Right now they're at their highest. Wait for them to go to their 52-week low. Buy in, hold them as an investment. When they go up to their highest, you just simply wait patiently. And when they go down to their lowest, you buy more. Don't be so quick to jump in. Don't be so quick to be manipulated, to be influenced. The market goes up and down. Stocks go up and down. They will always do that. And that's to your advantage, especially if you're watching stocks and you know their patterns. You build an algorithm. Jump in at the lows, ride them up to the highs, leave your money there if these stocks are worth holding on to and if they pay dividends. And when they go back down, buy one or two more shares. And if they stay down in their lowest for the next couple of weeks or a month or so, and you have extra money to continue to buy in at that low, since you know that's the lowest and it's not going to go any lower. And if it does, it won't go so low where you're going to lose much, because you've created that algorithm that tells you it's only a matter of time when it'll go back up to its highest. And you ride that stock up and you hold it and you wait and you rinse and repeat. And when the stock drops again, you do the same. And that's how you buy into stocks. This is how you buy low and sell high. You can buy low and simply hold. And then when it tanks again, you buy low and simply hold and ride it up. I don't recommend you do this with meme stocks. I don't recommend that you do this with GME or AMC. If you buy at a low and these stocks go up 30, 40, 50%, I recommend you sell. If not, you will lose your house. In the end, people, get your money. And don't let these assholes tell you how to hold these stocks or whether or not to hold. And if you don't hold, you're a shill and all this bullshit, because most of these scumbags aren't even here anymore. They've lost it all. This is why most of them have deleted their channels or changed their content. They either lost it all or didn't make it at all. And those who did make it are very far and few in between.